Hi everyone, welcome to Muzzle Training. This is featuring the handsome Ludo. And before we get into it, I want to talk to you a little bit about the kind of muzzle that I'm using here. I love the Baskerville muzzle, and this is what it looks like. This is the package. You can get this on Amazon. I think it's on Chewy, and I've seen it at pet stores too. I'm just not sure which ones. This is what it looks like on the dog. You can see it's really secure. There's a strap holding it onto the collar. There are two straps, one on either side, and then one that goes over the head and attaches to the back so the dog can't pull it off. And what I really love about this muzzle is that the dog can pant and eat and drink water, but it can't really bite anybody, and the holes are big enough for you to push treats through. So my favorite way to start muzzle training is to not actually use a muzzle at all. It's to use a cup. You can use a different size cup if you have a different size dog. And I really like to use high value treats or ice cream in there, or you can use gravy, pretty much anything that your dog really likes. This is just dog food because that's what I had on hand. And I want you to just kind of hold it and have the dog put their face in and pull the treats out. I want them to get used to having something on their face with no pressure anywhere involved. They just get to put their face in something and get some really good treats out of it. And you can see here that Ludo's having a great time doing that. So then when you move on to the muzzle, you want to start off just rewarding them for doing any touching of the muzzle or any kind of investigating at all. So I mark with the word yes, and then I feed a treat.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Then once they're really comfortable with that and you're ready to move on to the next step, you can put a piece of food or a treat in the opening where they can just barely put their nose in to get it, just to kind of lure them in a little bit. Once they get used to that, they'll put their face in a little bit farther usually. But if you have a specifically timid dog, you can put the treat a little bit farther back as time goes on, and then a little bit farther back and all the way to the end. If your dog is nervous at all or wants to pull their face out, make sure you let them, because this is not about putting any pressure on them to do it. You want this to be really positive and just go as slow as they want to go. So once your dog is reliably putting their face in there for the treat, you can stop using the bait treat and hold the treat on the other side of the muzzle in your hand so that they have to put their face in and then you're feeding them through the muzzle. You are going to want to add some duration to this pretty quickly. So what I do is I put a whole handful of treats in my hand and let them go through the muzzle to get all of them out one by one. You can also use something like cream cheese or peanut butter for this. The can of cheese works really well for this too. And then you want to make sure that as soon as they're done eating the treats that you let them pull their face out if they want to. They can also put their face back in and you can feed them for that, absolutely. But you want this to just be like a jackpot of treats. Once they're really good at that, then you can start to hold off on the treats and give them about a second before you feed them one or two treats through the muzzle. And then you can kind of slowly add some time on from there. When you're ready to start adding straps in, you want to go one at a time, and you want to start with the smallest side strap. So get your handful of treats and let the dog eat them out of your hand through the muzzle. And as they're doing that, use your other hand to just kind of put the strap up to their face as they're eating, and then let it go when they finish. That way they get a really good association with the strap. Once they get really used to that one, then you can move on to the bigger strap and the one that goes over their head. You want to go really low and slow with this and be really positive about it, because some dogs get really creeped out about having the straps moved up to their face. So if they do, and you need to break it down to even smaller pieces, go really slowly and just kind of put it half up to their face, or you can even just kind of reach for their face with your hand and then pull back. Once they're used to each strap individually, then you can start to buckle it a little bit in the back, or even just hold it there before buckling it and then let it go so they get used to that. Once they're good at that, then you can start to add the strap on top. Once you've got the muzzle on completely and you want to start adding some duration, you want to feed them something really, really delicious through the muzzle. You can feed them their meal through it with it on all the way. You can give them some ice cream. You can do pretty much anything that's really, really positive. If they love walks, you can even take them on a walk. My dog Ludo loves sniffing new smells because he's part hound. So if they love that, you can have a new scent in a bag or something for them to sniff while they're hanging out with their muzzle on. The main focus here is to make the whole process really, really positive and go at the dog's pace. Don't rush it. It's not worth it. We want everybody to be minimally stressed, you included, but of course, obviously the dog. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and watch the other videos on this channel if you liked them. And if you want to see something specific, leave a comment below. Thanks.